Hello everyone and welcome to the Vortex, where lies and falsehoods are trapped and exposed. I'm Michael Vorse, coming to you from the Philippines. Just to catch everyone up on our recent spat of activity, first of all, so far over $35,000 has been collected and sent off to the Catholic victims of the Christmas Day terrorist bombing in Abuja, Nigeria. On behalf of the poor survivors, our deepest heartfelt gratitude. Your generosity is a true testament to your love and your Catholic faith. Now, just so you know, we'll continue to accept donations for them and then funnel that money to Father Vincent in Nigeria, who's handling all the affairs over there. Now, next, it's Pro-Life Month over here in the Philippines, and some of you may recall we were invited here last year at this same time to speak to various Catholic groups all around Manila. Well, we were invited back this year and are actually doing some island hopping early on. Today, we're coming to you from Cebu City on the island of Cebu, one of the Philippines' main islands. It was here that Magellan, famous for first having an expedition to sail all the way around the world, landed in March of 1521, just as Martin Luther was beginning to tear Christianity apart in Europe. In one of those funny twists of history that Catholics call Providence, he'd actually gotten lost looking for a route to the Spice Islands. Magellan came ashore with some Augustinian monks, the same order, coincidentally, that Martin Luther belonged to. After establishing friendly relations, he persuaded the natives to accept the rule of King Charles I of Spain. The native king and his wife were given Christian names and baptized as Carlos and Juana. As a gift, Magellan gave the native queen a small statue of the Christ child, which has been treasured by Filipinos ever since. It's called the Santo Niño. On April 14th, Magellan erected a large wooden cross on the shores of Cebu, and shortly afterward, about 700 islanders were baptized. And that's where we're bringing you this Vortex report from today, the cross that Magellan erected right here in Cebu City. So there's a little Catholic snapshot history for you. Now on to more contemporary issues. Our first couple of days here have been a bit of a whirlwind. We met with a beautiful group of cloistered Carmelite nuns who are followers of RealCatholicTV.com and the Vortex. Always a good thing to have cloistered nuns praying for your intentions. Then we gave a couple of talks in churches and chapels on the necessity of remaining solidly Catholic. The Filipino people are truly delightful and splendid hosts, and were very receptive to the message. Then last night, it was on to a banquet where we were invited to talk on the earnestness of being Catholic and what a profound joy and blessing it is to be Catholic. We had the chance beforehand to visit with a splendid prelate, the Archbishop of Cebu, Jose Palma, who graciously presented us with an award after the talk, as well as a gift, a replica of the Santo Niño. This morning, we had a semi-private meeting with him in his office where we shared some thoughts on the need for vigilance and the new evangelization. While we were there, he was kind enough to present us with a medallion struck in honor of a young Filipino man who will be canonized by Pope Benedict XVI later this year. Pedro Calungsod, a 16-year-old martyr who died alongside a priest who was working to convert the native population. It's interesting that our trip here has coincided with all the insanity going on back in the United States over Obama's attempt to ram birth control down the church's throat. That is exactly what's going on here in the Philippines. Extreme amounts of foreign pressure from U.S.-backed UN groups are being brought to bear here in the Philippines to force the government to legalize contraception. You may recall that we first told you about this effort last year. Well, the Planned Parenthood and population control forces haven't gone away. In fact, they've dug in for a long, hard fight. But the good news is, so have the faithful Catholics. This is a monumental slugfest with American interests, meaning Obama, versus the Catholic Church. Sound familiar? In fact, in a close parallel to the case back in the States, the church here also has a traitor in the person of President Benigno Aquino, son of the late and faithful former President Cory Aquino. Benigno Aquino is a good friend of Obama's, and the two have met on several occasions, developing a good rapport. Aquino wants to traffic in money in powerful circles, and Obama wants contraception and abortion as commonplace in the Philippines as in America. But he's finding out in his battle with the church in America, it might not be quite as easy as he'd hoped. Unlike in America, where the Catholic hierarchy folded like a house of cards 40 years ago in the face of the sexual revolution, the church here in the Philippines has a long and storied past of fighting for the faith. And while secularism is making some headway, there are still enough determined Catholics here willing to fight to the death for the faith. When Magellan planted his cross here nearly 500 years ago, he planted a faith that has survived and has so flourished as to make the Philippines the last Catholic country on earth. No divorce, no contraception, no abortion. As we advised from Nigeria a few days ago, Catholics in America need to keep Catholics in other countries in mind when casting their vote for U.S. president. It isn't just the church in America that Obama is attacking, but the church all over the world. Reporting from Magellan's Cross in Cebu City, the Philippines, this is Michael Voris. God love you.